We have 3 hours of coverage from Toronto for you, and there is the images from the soccer venue in Hamilton, where later Brazil will take on the host Canada, and we hope to give you live second-half coverage there from the CIBC Hamilton Pan Am Soccer Stadium. Some action already earlier. We'll have highlights between Peru and Panama. Glad you could join us. We have a lot of fun days ahead. Courtney Kupets-Carter joining us as we look towards the gymnastics venue. Already a fruitful event for the U.S. They win their first men's team event in 20 years. Hard to imagine it's been that long.
It's crazy. They're one of the only teams who go to the Olympics as a team, and they haven't won at the Pan American Games. So this was a huge success for the men's team.
Great start. And now the highly anticipated women's team. We teased it a little bit yesterday. This is a young team. This is a group of girls that we expect great things from in the future, and it starts here today in the Pan Am Games.
It is so exciting because this Pan Am Games for these young gymnasts, this means if they do well, Marta Caroli and the selection committee for the U.S. is looking at them, and they have a potential to go to the World Championships this year.
World Championships in October in Glasgow, so put your best foot forward, work for your team, and also work for the individual side. And you have to be 16 in the calendar year, correct?
That's
in 2015, correct. And they all qualifies the U.S. in the first subdivision earlier on today.
That's right, and they started on the floor exercise, and this is Emily Shield. And you saw she started with that double front. That is a difficult pass. She ended with a 13.75, and this is Megan Skaggs. Nice double Arabian. She does have a step, but she doesn't go out of bounds. Finally, someone doesn't go out.
16. Madison Desch, you got an eye on her to do big things.
Watch this first pass. She goes, whip, that's a back handspring with no hands, right into two flips with a twist. Incredible. But she doesn't finish there. This is her last pass. A round-up back handspring into a double back, and she nails it. That's the way you finish your routine. Then you go over to the vault. All four American gymnasts do the Yurchenko double full. That's the round-off onto the board, flip off, two full twists in the air.
She is... You can't know, she's diminutive and she's powerful.
That's right, and she got a 15.05. This is Amelia Hundley. She had a less of a hop there at that ending, so she got a 15.1. But all four of the gymnasts got at least a 14.9, which is huge for that rotation.
Huntley, the old-timer at 17. Some good competition outside of the U.S. Abreu from the Dominican Republic.
That's right, that's a front handspring double front, which... Look how excited she is, and there's a reason for that. No gymnast does this anymore. It was called a protonova, so it's a little while ago since anyone's done it, and she's excited because that's more of a men's type skill. And here's her second vault to try to qualify into that event finals.
She's happy about it.
Oh, she is so excited. I love her reaction. It just shows how much work they put into it. And this is the result they get.
Hard to imagine as U.S. put their foot down firmly in the subdivision earlier on, but still some qualifying to do on some other events. Hundley here on the parallel.
That's right. We're just going to see her dismount here, but her entire routine, she has such a nice swing and a great difficulty along with it. Not a bad way to end that bar routine either. You see here, those are called her giant swings into that dismount to get more power. Just a small hop at the end.
In the subdivision format, do you like to start out early as a competitor, or would you rather get your stuff done later on in the evening?
You know what? To them, it shouldn't matter. They should be able to get out there, go any time of the day, and be able to do their best. And you know what? The judges are going to score you based on what you do, not when you go.
You guys here on the bars.
She does 5 releases. I don't know where we are in the releases. I think that's number 4. She knocks him out. She has 1 left to go. There it is, that transition element to the high bar. It is a jam-packed routine, and there's some upgrades in that. So this is a new routine for her.
Yeah, you got to impress. Again, so much at stake for these girls. In addition to going for gold, it will be a surprise if they don't get it. Keep you up to speed, but the individual, the all-around at stake, and certainly with an eye on the World Championships in October.
Right, and this is Rachel Gowie. The way she swings, it's so fluid. She makes it look so easy, and that is her dismount, the double layout. And she sticks it.
So 5 competitors for the U.S. There's only room for 2 in the all-around to continue on. It's going to be tough to filter through.
That's right, and there were 3 that actually did the all-around tonight. So that was Skaggs, Desch, and Hundley. So only 2 of them are going to be able to qualify through.
Updated standings. You can see the gap starting to grow between them and second place, Mexico. Again, not really putting a foot out of place.
Amelia, she has been a solid competitor today, and she nailed this beam routine. She has been consistent, and that's what the U.S. is looking for.
conquering the beam. And the U.S. back to Madison Desch.
Right, this is a new element for Madison right here. It's a back handspring step out into 2 feet, lay out full, and she does fall off. And so it's unfortunate she fell. She nails this every time in practice. You don't see her fall often. It just maybe was the nerves, but she needs to go ahead and try it because this is the event to do it at.
How does that affect her with regards to qualifying for the all-around? How big of a drop is that?
It's a full point deduction for her to fall off that balance beam. And if she was able to make it into the all-around, she'd be able to prove herself and maybe try this skill again.
Okay, we'll keep you up to speed on the all-around scores shortly here on our coverage as they continue on the beam.
This is Rachel Gowie again. Now, she is a beautiful beam worker, and this is her first time back out on this type of international scene at the 2014 National Championship. She actually broke her ankle on her beam dismount in warm-ups and didn't even get to compete. She was out for 4 months. She needed surgery, and this is her first time. She's back. She feels strong. She doesn't feel pain anymore, so she is ready to go. So
much at stake for these 16, 17-year-old girls, and they look like they are ready to absorb the pressure. Certainly Gowie here on the beam.
Well, as you can see, she just moves from one skill to the other, and there is no foot or arm out of place. She just is solid on this balance beam.
So much practice, hours, days, weeks, preparing for these events. And you gotta be firm, you gotta perform in a couple minutes.
That's right. So we will see her dismount coming up, and she did do, it was a triple full, so 1 flip and 3 full twists around that she hurt her ankle on. So she's capable of that. But I think tonight we'll see if she ends up going with a triple or if she sticks with a 2.5.
Rachel Gowie at the dismount.
Looks like she played it a little bit safe. I mean, it's still a very difficult dismount.
If that's playing it safe, highly impressed. So they get the disciplines under their belt. High fives all around. A big score for the U.S. Ana Gomez Porras of Guatemala. Again, these are countries that aren't going to compete for the team medal, but individually, in Porras, you have a decorated gymnast who could do a lot of things and do them well.
That's right. The U.S., even for the young team they are, has a very difficult routine lineup in all of their athletes. And Ana, she actually could fit right in with those girls during this competition. This bar routine, as you can see, she makes it look easy. She has several release moves. Her difficulty is up there. And she's very clean. That's another thing you got to remember. It's not just the difficulty, it's how are you performing those skills, and she is very clean on this event.
A small country, Central America, who doesn't win medals in whether it's Olympic or Pan American Games, so anything they could do would be significant. She put herself in position to compete, certainly at the all-around and some of the individual disciplines.
That's right, and it's great to see a little bit of variety in there. You know, I mean, I'm a fan of the U.S., I'm not going to lie, but I do love to see athletes exactly coming up through the ranks.
This is one of the great stories. We'll touch on another one that's competing right now. We can't wait to introduce you to young Flavia Saraiva of Brazil. But right now, Porras, she's going to be a handful now on the floor.
So as you can see, her bars was up there in difficulty. Her beam as well, ending with that double pike off the end. And now starting off with this full in. And that is 2 flips with 1 full twist in the air.
Those feet are never flat here. You've got to keep them active, keep that spring in your step.
That's right. I mean, she has a little bit of her leg separation, but she is clean when she lands, and that is so important on the floor.
4 foot 10 inches, which we're talking about the heights. You're 5'3".
That's right.
You're like the Yao Ming of gymnastics at times, but 4 foot 10, a little bit low average of the competitors.
Yeah, I would say a 5 foot is pretty typical for a gymnast, so.
Porras, you can see, really, we saw 3 or 4, and now the vault.
She does the same Yurchenko double full like the Americans did, and she does it well. 14.6 on that vault, finished with a 57.2 today.
So we see Hundley and Desch. They'll go through to the all-around, finishing first and second.
We have
to
finish the finals, but they're most likely.
And as we look at the team result, 15 points. Put in perspective how big of a lead that is currently over Mexico. This will change when the other nations participate here tonight.
That is a big lead. Like I said before, a fall is 1 point. So the U.S. pretty much could have fallen on every event and still been in the lead right now, so it's a big deal.
Okay, so we expect better competition later. What are the nations we know about Brazil? Is that the biggest threat for the U.S., if there is a threat?
I would say Brazil and Canada. Canada is pushing. This is in their home country. They want to do well. These gymnasts might actually feel the extra pressure of wanting to do that, but they're also looking up to Rio. I mean, they came in at the 2012 Olympics with their best finish ever, and they want to just build upon that.
The nighttime rotation features Canada, features Brazil. Quick word about Flavia Saraiva.
Oh my gosh, she's a cutie pie. Just has so much charisma. She's got great skills. She has a little bit lower difficulty on a few of the events, but beam and floor are her specialties. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see her.
All right,
she's so cute.
That's a good sell there, by the way, Courtney, as we get you now for the night session. And we start with the Brazilians. And Hipólito is, again, a gymnast who's been there and been in the big competitions.
She has been in every Olympics since the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, which she has the experience. And it's so difficult because every 4 years the code changes, and the code is what these gymnasts have to perform. And she's able to stay relevant in each of those codes, which is incredible for a gymnast to do.
We had a discussion, and we talked about the funding in Brazil gymnastics. Lest we not forget, the Olympics next year are in Rio. They have to qualify.
They have to qualify, and you know what? In the 2012 Games, they qualified 12th, and that's the last place you can qualify. So they're on the rim here, and they just lost one of their top athletes, Rebecca Andrade, to an ACL tear. So they have to replace one of their top athletes.
We talked about the pressure for the U.S. mounting on Brazil as a nation says, we have this great gymnastics program we got to put together. We want the home nation to be there, but nothing's guaranteed. So they have to deliver here and moving forward towards the World Championships.
That's right, and they started off great on floor, and you could just see Leticia Costa. Beautiful routine, such great difficulty, and that skill she just fell on was called a double Arabian, which is 2 flips, 1 half turn before it happens, and that is at the end of her routine. Some girls don't even do that at the beginning of their routine. So they're trying to upgrade right now, and this is the time to do it, to try to prepare.
And this is Flavia Saraiva. What can you say? She's 16. She looks single digits. Petite, but powerful. 4 foot 4 inches.
Right, and you know, she's already improved her difficulty from last year. And she has a full year to continue doing that. But look at the charisma. She just draws the crowd in.
She's drawn us in. This is my favorite story of the games thus far. You can't take your eyes off.
You can't. You just want to watch
demands your attention.
And that's great for Brazil.
Good stuff. Now the Canadians.
And this is Ellie Black. She is their top gymnast for this Canadian team. Pretty much their leader. She went to the 2012 Olympics. That was her first vault. She will do a second vault to try to qualify into that vault finals. A little bit lower landing there.
Kept her feet. Looked like, as vaults go, more on the challenging side.
That's right. She ended up, her first vault was a 14.4. You know, so she's able to count that into their team score.
Moves to the floor here. And again, we saw Brazil, a couple hiccups along the way. Ellie back here on the floor.
The history of rising to the moment, enjoying the big stage.
This is the 4th rotation. We'll let you enjoy it with us.
Likely excited for the opportunity here to help her team to a medal.
Ellie Black and the Canadians looking to get on the podium here on the team. Brazil there, and the U.S. certainly putting down the gauntlet early on. Let's take you out to the Toronto Coliseum. Mitch Peacock, Elfie Schlegel.
That's your team captain.
Ellie Black of Canada. And the Toronto Coliseum enjoying that performance, hoping to see the Canadians on the podium at the end of the night. She's had the drive all night to make a difference for this team.
Absolutely.
And when it mattered the most.
And this is what was missing throughout the day, but boy, does it feel so nice when you can do this at home for your audience, people that have been pulling for you throughout the entire event. She did come through, and she came through in a very big way. Her tumbling was spot on, powerful. I felt at times she was really savoring the moment. She was thinking about the things she was doing and where she was looking throughout the exercise. There was a lot of emotion, I feel, in this routine for Ellie.
You can tell there's a level of satisfaction there as she makes her way back to join the group. Flavia Saraiva, little dynamo set to go to work on the beam. As these teams go toe-to-toe here at Toronto Coliseum.
Well, this is where you're going to see such great precision and quality of gymnastics. She has been so well trained. Makes that look like child's play. Beautifully done. Round off layout. Whoa! Like, I am not coming off this balance beam. No way.
On-floor exercise representing Canada.
She's one of those very natural beam workers, very gifted. She's comfortable up there. You can see that. Beautiful leap. Losing sight not just once, but twice from the beam. That's really hard to do.
Well, as you said, make them forget that there's a beam. It's like you're on the floor.
And trying to get that focus back on once you're looking up to the sky. This is jam-packed with difficulty.
This is just the beginning on the senior level for this young lady.
You know, she handled herself exceptionally well. What a veteran already. Can't believe I just said
Veteran
that.
poise. Young years. Nicely done. Flavia Saraiva of Brazil.
Remember, this is her first time competing as a senior team member. Beautiful skill. I mean, the legs were straight. It was powerful. There's that round off layout. Look at her. Oh, she just has like a big toe on there. Fighting, fighting, fighting. Almost came off again, but wow. Such desire to want to stay on the beam.
Willing herself to stay up there. And then a little hand gesture after. Okay, I'm good. Let's keep going. And obviously paid a price, but put up a very nice 14.55. Flavia Saraiva of Brazil. And that is the #1 performance on the beam on the day. Now, Ellie Black a few moments ago for Canada with a 14.2 to help the cause. So the team competition heating up. And Canada hoping to secure that spot. Find themselves the shiniest form of medal they can. 4 compete, top 3 count. When you have 4 competitors in these competitions. And Canada with that 166.5, standing in the 2nd spot behind the United States. So Canada rising to the challenge.
And for Megan Chant, this is a good exercise. Her start value is around a 5.6. if she does everything successfully. So the maximum she can score is a 15.6. Big moment for this young lady.
Bit of a misstep there from Chant, but the Canadians in that second spot. She just wants to finish strong and help everybody enjoy the moment. Center stage for Canada. Center stage for the final competitor for the Canadians on a special night at the Toronto Coliseum. Megan Chant waving and the crowd roaring. Canada will be on the podium tonight. The United States set the tone early in the competition and turned in a spectacular performance. Favorites coming in, they delivered. The United States, #1. But Canada, with an opportunity in the final subdivision to work their way to the podium, and they have done that in the second position, with Brazil in spot #3.
It was so cute. I just heard Megan say to her coach, but I stepped out of bounds. You know, after all this, having that anchor position and just feeling the energy from the crowd, putting in a great performance for yourself, for your country.
That's a competitor.
Yeah.
She wants excellence.
That's a nice moment for Megan. She didn't have the best of days on the balance beam, and nice to end your competition with a hit performance and the cheers from your teammates on the sidelines.
So the host nation,
Megan Chant with the exclamation point for Canada, who will finish with the silver. Brazil, who are also on display in that night session for the bronze, both well behind for the United States. The individual all-around, Amelia Huntley and Madison Desch will move on. And great news for everyone. Yes, indeed, Flavia Saraiva will be in the all-around, which we can see tomorrow. 4 Americans on display, the 2 men, Sam McCulloch and Donnell Wittenberg, and the 2 ladies we just mentioned. How do you think they will fare?
It will be a good night. And you know what? The all-around for these competitors is going to be more about improving the mistakes they made on their team finals. So for Madison Desch, when she fell on her balance beam routine, that's a new skill for her. She's going to want to prove to Marta and that selection committee that she can do that beam routine. So it'll be a big night.
And Porras of Guatemala on the women's team. So it's going to be some heavy hitters out there. USA 2 for 2 in gold medals in gymnastics. Let's take you back out to the Toronto Coliseum for the medal ceremony.
Accompanied by the Vice President of the International Gymnastics Federation, Ms. Slava Korn.
Médaille de bronze. Médaille de bronze.
Bronze medal, Brazil.
Plenty of support for Brazil at the Toronto Coliseum. A nice cheer for them as they step into that bronze medal place on the podium. Patchy, the mascot of the Toronto 2015 Pan American Games.
I think that is
part of the ceremony.
Such a lovely touch to go along with the medal.
If you're wondering about the back of the porcupine, there is 41 pieces on the back representing the nations participating in these Pan American Games. Oh yeah, and there are medals being handed out too.
Yes.
Hard-earned medals, and well-deserved. You've been on the podium. What's it like?
Oh, it's a beautiful feeling. I can imagine how much, well, the Commonwealth Games in 1978, being presented with a gold medal in front of your hometown crowd. It's an amazing feeling for all your efforts and looking out to the people. It's almost a gift to them to say thank you for supporting me.
Daniele Mattias Ippolito, Julie King, Simon.
The bronze medal winning Brazilian team.
Médaille d'argent.
Rising to the challenge tonight.
Médaille de plata.
Silver medal, Canada.
No surprise, a big response from the crowd at the Toronto Coliseum for the Canadian team.
And Mitch, this was a goal that this team set out for themselves. I think they realized early on that the American team would be very strong and very difficult to beat. And they thought a realistic goal and a great challenge for them would be to win the silver medal. And they've accomplished that. It's wonderful when you can achieve those goals. They worked very hard for this silver medal from that very first event, the final floor team from Megan Chant.
It's interesting to watch the athletes' reaction. Look at Isabella Onishko. It's almost like she doesn't want to look at it until it's actually around her.
Feel the weight of that medal, and it feels good. Feels good. You feel very proud.
The silver medal winning Canadian team, and now the champions of the women's artistic gymnastics team competition.
Gold medal and Pan American champions, United States of America.
And a great show of sportsmanship from the champions.
I love when they do this for one another. It's respect. Everyone out there knows how hard they have worked for these medals. It's a great show of sportsmanship. What a program this American team has created. You know, I can't even remember the last time that they lost a team event.
Back-to-back world championships for the United States women's team. That hasn't happened. A defending champion hasn't defended for more than a decade.
And to think that for this American team here at the Pan Am Games, they were competing even within them, amongst themselves, wondering which one of us will make that world championship team. It's quite a battle down there.
Well, you mentioned that the competition to represent in competition is as great as some of the competitions will be for the Americans.
United States of America was represented by Madison Desch, Rachel Gowie, Amelia Hundley, Emily Shield, and Megan Skaggs.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'hymne national. Damas y caballeros, el himno nacional.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the United States of America.
Great moment for the United States when we return back out to the Aquatic Center for the 10-meter platform for the men, playing for gold. And baseball.
I'm on Agatha Collins at the Ajax Baseball Complex outside of Toronto. Coming up, we'll have the latest on tonight's key game between international rivals, Team USA and Team Cuba.